My husband doesn't understand how much he saved me. My 29F husband, 29M, has literally saved me and he doesn't even know how much. Every time I look at him I love him more. Me and my husband met when we were in high school. We dated all of our freshman year but he was in foster care and I found out years later it was his foster mom who forced us to break up. She wouldn't let us see each other and then she called my mom and told her that he wanted to end things with me but didn't want to do it himself. So understandable I said fug him. Every so often he'd pop back into my life, asking my friends and even my mom if I was okay and if I was happy, trying to talk to me and so on. I ignored everything. Eventually I moved away and went to college and met someone. I always wanted to be married and start a family and I thought I had found someone who loved me. My now husband even messaged my mom on my wedding day to make sure I was happy. Turns out once we, my now ex, were married and I was pregnant with our first child, his personality instantly changed. He thought he had trapped me and he became extremely abusive, verbally at first then physically. He also manipulated everything. Example: the pizza he ordered and I picked up was wrong and I didn't check the order before bringing it home, so that meant he had to punch a hole in the wall and spit at me because I was too stupid to check, and so on. He was a complete narcissist. Anyways, I was in such a low point. I had just had my daughter and she was seeing how I was being treated. I knew that I couldn't let her grow up in this kind of environment. So I started planning my exit. I knew I had to do it in such a way that I could play into his ego and make it about him. I didn't want to tell my family because I was so embarrassed that I had let this happen to me and now my daughter. So I started saving up little by little until I had enough to go to a lawyer and file divorce papers. Once everything was set up and I legally changed my name again, I got a message from my now husband on Facebook. He wanted to check in and see how I was doing. And even though I had promised myself I wasn't going to date or talk to anyone for years, I started talking to him and told him everything that had happened in my life. He never pressured me for more, never asked for anything, he was just there. Eventually we started dating and he met my daughter. I started to trust and to love again. I started gaining confidence back in myself. I started to love myself again. He has never called me a name, never raised his voice, never done anything but love me and cherish me. Yesterday we signed the adoption papers. He adopted our daughter. And as I looked at him holding her and loving on her and seeing how much love he had for me and for her, I broke into tears. He's the most amazing man I've ever met, and when I asked him last night why he never tried to date anyone else or have a serious relationship outside of our freshman year, he said how could he ever date anyone else when no one could compare to me. He knew from the moment he met me that I was the one he wanted to be with, and even if he couldn't be with me he just wanted me to be happy. I don't know what I did to deserve such love, but I'm so grateful for him and for the life we will share together.